Alright guys, made it to part 5 in the series, and believe I was 5-0 up until this game. Okay, so here we are. First drive I didn't score, and obviously second drive I go through my settings, and I want you to remember something here. What did I forget to do here? That will come into fruition later. So first and foremost, he comes out in the I slot formation. And I love to play cover 2 against formations like this and things with like the wing set. Because if you think about it, we have these 8 players who have run fit responsibilities. Remember, the corner is the force player on the outside. And what I do in this formation is I user the safety on the tight end side. And the reason why I do this is because we're not going to play like the computer on the opposite side. We're actually going to play and fit the run as the deep half safety on the side. Okay, so I went over this a couple of times. The reason why we can do this is because there isn't nothing really threatening us vertically on this side of the field. The only player that provides a threat for the defense on this side of the field, deep down the field, is the tight end. So what we can do is we can read the tight end at the snap of the ball, and if he stays in the block, well then we can trigger down and fit a run gap. What I do is I don't trigger now, which you shouldn't. I really just make the corner right. So if the corner fits outside, then I fill inside. If the corner fits inside, then I fill outside. So, I mean, looking at this, we've turned it into a 9-man box while playing cover 2. So at the snap of the ball, it's a run. Look at our corner. He fits inside, so we fill outside to make him right. So, I mean, what we do is our corner in that situation will never be wrong if we do it right. Okay? So I don't remember what happens on this play right here. So I have to stop it and take a look. What's going to happen is he's actually going to run to the 2 wide receiver side. Okay? So in that situation, because we are using the safety on this side, obviously we try to fill. We're running more like a contain and trying to fill the alley. Okay, and this can be a potential problem because remember, this safety on this side, he's going to drift off into space. He's not going to fit the run. Okay, so upon watching the replay, I've kind of figured a more optimal way to play this formation, and it's based upon alignment alone. Okay, switching the alignment in a particular play can make a defensive concept play a million times better, right? So it's good to kind of go over these replays. I will go over that alignment a little bit later on. So you will see he will take a run to the 2 wide receiver side. And as you see, I'm at the top there. I get hit by the tight end. Okay, but our inside linebacker fills his gap extremely well. But if you can imagine, if he didn't fill that gap, we would have a big problem on that side of the ball. So this is my adjustment, the alignment that I was just talking about. I did it on the next play, so I guess I'm thinking pretty quickly. Why not align directly down the center here? We're not afraid of the tight end threatening us vertically. They're not speedy wideouts, right? So at the snap of the ball, if it's a pass, we can just read the tight end. If he stays in the block, we know it's a run. If he triggers upfield, we know it's a pass, and then we can read the tight end. Because the tight end goes inside there, I don't have to play deep half, as I'll run it back. And I mean, this is what, defending receivers and not space is all about, okay? So we're going to take this safety, play the middle of the field, and obviously we have run fit responsibilities. If the tight end goes vertical, okay, then we deal with that route. We play inside, we try to top it. However, if he goes underneath like he does in this particular route, there's no need for us to drift off in the deep half. We can actually play the deep middle and cushion the post. Okay, so that's what happens. He plays the underneath, the tight end. So if you watch the replay, you'll notice that I showed no interest in playing the deep half on my side of the field, and that's because I knew that we were fine based upon the route combination up front. So I threw a terrible interception on my drive, okay, and he got the ball back. So I was playing actually horribly on offense. I believe the first half I was a little bit off. He goes to trips tight end flex, and right here I was confused on what was going on, okay, because I went to quarters defense, So you notice I moved the safety over because I'm like, why was that gaping hole so wide open? So he ran his formation again, and right here is where I remembered. If you remember, rewind, remember this? Remember I said that I forgot something, right? 100%. And I didn't think about it till right here. So there it is, gaping hole. That's the problem with spot drop coverage. I just don't know how people can actually play with spot drop. I just don't see it, right? So next play, obviously I went to match. I was pissed off because I was thinking we would match the coverage, and we didn't. Okay, I know the rules of quarters coverage against this formation. I'm the safety. I'm reading the departure of the tight end. Because the tight end goes vertical, I know that I'm responsible for the vertical to number 3. And I think my opponent assumed that it would be gaping wide open like it was the play before. Little does he know we're actually in match coverage now. Okay, so we're matching the routes. Here, a very interesting event transpires. He got really close to an interception. My safety really reads 2 to 1, but if you carry on the process after that, he actually reads 2 to 1 to 3. 2 stays underneath, so he looks to 1, but because 1 is outside, then he can look for 3. It just takes so long for him to get through that process, and he drives just a little bit late. That could have been an interception, okay? So I believe he scored, then I scored, so now we're here in the second quarter. And again, he's in this formation. I'm in cover 2 again, and again, my corner fills inside. So we stop the run with a 2-yard gain. 3rd and 8. So then he goes gun tight. So this is where I check in 2 quarters, and I'm going to play pounder on the 2 wide receiver side, and I'm going to play regular quarters on the right. And right there, he hits a ball right before my safety can make a play. So Burrow's got an arm, man. So in situations like that, I started to bring my safeties down a bit. So here, at the snap of the ball, I was making a mistake here. Okay, what are we supposed to do? Read the tight end. That's very important when we play against this formation and we're in cover 2, right? I was a little bit late there, but as you can see, you see why we're able to get away with playing the safety inside like that. We're not afraid of the vertical of the number 2 of the tight end. But what I was doing here is I was having my eyes in the backfield, and you're not supposed to do that. What we should be doing is reading the tight end. Don't look at the back at all. And I shouldn't be this far up either. I should be further back about here, defending for the offense's play. And again, everything's about alignment. I run it back. Okay, first of all, we're too low in the hole. We don't need to be this far underneath. We have these defenders to defend their gaps, right? If we're up here, we can make a proper read. If it's a run, then we can fill outside to help out our corner, or we can actually play better run defense to a run towards the 2 wide receiver side. But if it's a pass, then we're in better position to read the tight end. And if the tight end runs underneath inside, then we can play the post hole. But if he runs deep, we are in better position to defend a deep route, because then we can stay in our strafe and not have to run and turn to defend the tight end. So this is 100% my fault. My eyes are in the backfield, and that's why I got caught on the play action. And he threw it over top for a touchdown. So I actually played pretty horribly in this game, but at least you still get to see the concept part of the coverage. It's good to see, see replays and ask yourself, is there a problem with the coverage? Is there a problem with the play that I selected? Or is there a problem with the actual user? And in everything that I've seen so far, I really do blame myself and how I played and giving up big plays and touchdowns, right? All the way from not selecting match coverage at the beginning of the game, poor alignment there with cover 2, even though that was a perfect call for that, right? Because the corner plays outside leverage in cloud, so he cushions underneath on that corner route, and we should be in prime position to make a play on that as the safety reading the tight end. So he started running a lot of gun tight, and I was playing with different things. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go to my creeper blitz, my 3-3 blitz. Definitely check out part 1 and 2 of defending gun tight, and part 3. Okay, and we were able to get a sack. He goes to trips tight end flex again, so I get in the same alignment in quarters, and I know I have to take the tight end, and I made another mistake, all right? I'm supposed to defend the tight end. I cut the tight end. That's my match responsibility, but I played too low, right? It's 4th and 10. If I played further up, okay, I could have been in the window of that throw, and if he threw it underneath to the tight end, then we could just rally and make a tackle, right? So again, that's just poor play. So here I'm like, you know what, I'm going to play with an outer 3 shell, cover 3 cloud. You guys know, if you watch my videos in how to defend gun tight, most players, when they play in that particular formation, they try to attack outside. Playing with an outer shell of cover 3 is excellent against defending route combinations like that. So we get an interception. So just the knowledge of a particular formation and how to defend it can override me playing like garbage, right? So I slowed it down here because we're actually going to get into a 5-0 call, and we're going to be hot on both sides of the formation, okay? Theoretically, offenses almost never want to design or be forced to have to be hot on both sides of the formation. You really want your hot defender to be on the strong side of the formation, okay? So with this look, I set the mic on the defensive tackle, and what's going to happen is the offensive line are going to take care of these 5 defenders, okay, because they're all covered. And I'm sending 5 out into routes. What that means is if this defender comes on a rush, then we have no one to protect us from him. And if this defender comes on a rush, we have no one to protect us from him as well. That makes us hot on both sides of the ball. Now, offenses avoid this. They don't want to be hot on both sides of the ball. And the reason for that is because usually you slide to the will. The reason why you slide to the will is because your concept side is going to be where you have the most receivers. So like in a situation like this, we have 3 to this side and 2 to this side. If we are forced to be hot, if they're going to bring more than what we can block, we would rather just be hot off of this player right here, okay? That way, at the snap of the ball, the quarterback is going to look to the concept side first anyway. So that hot defender coming off of the edge, he will come right into the quarterback's field of vision. So he would know he has to throw hot right away. And usually, because we have an overload of receivers on this side, we can throw into the vacated area. We have a lot more options on this side of the ball. On the flip side of that, that's why you don't want it to where you're hot on the backside, right? So where, we have an answer for everyone coming except for this player, right? Where we're hot off of this defender. So if he comes, then we have to get rid of the ball. The problem with that is if we're reading the concept side first, you put the quarterback in a position to where at the snap of the ball, he has to look left first to make sure that the hot defender isn't coming. And then he has to get his eyes back to the front side to read his concept side. And that's just not a real efficient way of going about things, okay? However, there are rare situations to where you kind of are forced to have a hot on both sides of the ball, okay? It's very rare for a quarterback to be very good at utilizing an offense that has hots coming on both sides of the ball, and one quarterback I can think of that was exceptional at throwing hot and being comfortable with being hot on both sides of the ball is Kurt Warner. So why don't we listen to a segment of Kurt Warner going over why you really don't want to be hot on both sides of the ball.
Okay, protection, understanding what you're doing. Now, I'm a guy that when I've got 1, 2, 3 receivers to one side, I like to make sure my hot is to the 3 receiver side because there's a lot more options there. So in other words, I would want my offensive line to slide backside. So it takes somebody coming from the front side to create my hot, not somebody coming from the backside. Because now if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I've got a hot here and I've got a hot here. And that's a lot to put on any quarterback, but specifically a young quarterback.
So there it is, straight from the horse's mouth. Definitely go check out Kurt Warner's YouTube channel, loaded with information, okay? The guy's been to the Super Bowl 3 times. He knows what he's talking about, right? So again, what we have here, I have the center ID'd as the mic, so we're going to get in a 5-0 call. We have our who we're blocking, and we know where we are hot. We are hot on both sides. And again, that's something that you don't really want to live in at all. You really don't want it to where you're hot on both sides, because again, you have to pay attention to both sides. But this is a video game, so I'm not going to get smashed in real life if I, fumble the ball here. And I'm real comfortable reading hot on both sides anyways, Now, if you ask, well, what can you do to alleviate this issue? Well, we could just block the back, and then the back would take care of this player here, right? And then we would just be hot on this side. Or we could check release the back. So he would check to see if this player comes. If he comes, he would block him. If that player doesn't come, then our running back can get out into a route. That's probably the optimal way of doing it. But, for whatever reason, I wanted to get 5 out into routes. Actually, it was because he ran this very same blitz earlier in the game, and I don't forget when you get me on a blitz earlier in the game. He got me to get rid of the ball quickly, and I wasn't ready, and I recognized the same look. So I'm like, you know what? I want to get 5 out into a route, so if he goes hot, so we're hot on both sides. If both of them come, I can get rid of the ball on either side, and that's exactly what happens here. So we snap the ball. I'm looking. Both of them come, so both of them are unblocked. I throw hot to my back, and look at that, man. We pick up a touchdown. I mean, that's just a clinic right there. 100% a clinic, man. So move on. We're up 3. I get into quarters defense against Trips tight end flex, and he just got away with another errant throw. We should have got an interception there. That's fine. Get back in the quarters defense against this formation, and he kept fitting in these balls in these really, really tight windows. And what more can you ask for? I mean, sometimes you just got to give credit to the offense. I mean, he does have really good receivers in the Bengals. So, a lot of these windows, even though that they're tight, they're able to come down with the ball, Here, definitely go check out my video on quarters coverage against Trips tight end flex. It's part 3. Because the tight end goes vertical, I know my corner has him one-on-one. And we like the matchup there. We have a bona fide corner there. That's one of the benefits of having a corner who's very good in man-to-man coverage. He's able to provide you with a lot of options on defense, allowing you to divert resources elsewhere. So this was the same look again. Look how I ID the mic on the defensive tackle, so I know what my offensive line is responsible for, and I'm hot on both sides again. And here we will see the disadvantage of sending 5 out into routes against a look like this. Now, if you are a little bit overwhelmed with all of this information in regards to pass protection, don't let it get to you, okay? I mean, it can feel overwhelming at first trying to understand the realm of pass protection. But over time, I'm telling you, over time, once you look at it and you get used to it, you begin to see a pattern. Football it's just a lot of patterns when it comes to football and the concepts, and then everything just starts to make sense, even with looks that you've never seen before, okay? Because you know the concepts in regards to pass protection, okay? First things first, the offensive line is always trying to protect inside out. Because if someone's going to come scot-free at the quarterback, you would rather it be somebody coming from the C-gap outward as opposed to the A-gap. Because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and obviously it's a quicker path to get to the quarterback from the A-gap as opposed to outside in the C-gap, okay? So different fronts, like even fronts, I know how it blocks up. Odd fronts, I know what they're supposed to do. And bear-like fronts like this, or fronts where they mug all of the offensive linemen, you'll begin to see a pattern to where you kind of understand how the offensive line is going to pick it up, and then you'll better understand how they manipulate that offensive line protection based upon who you set as the mic, okay? So I'm not going to get into deep detail about why they pick it up this way against this front. Maybe I'll make another video with this. The whole thing is just to kind of understand just the overall base concept of pass protection here, okay? So we're sending 5 out into routes. So I already went over this against this play earlier on in the video, and we're hot on both sides of the ball. But here we're going to see why sometimes staying in 5-man protection against a look like this can be detrimental to your offense to function, okay? Because what a defense can do is they can show this look and they can get into sim pressure, okay? What a sim pressure is the defense presents a particular look to make it seem like they're coming on a blitz, but then at the snap of the ball, they're dropping defenders out into defensive zones and whatever coverage that they have them defending. And that's what he does in this situation. So at the snap of the ball, a couple of linebackers inside drop out into zones, and this player comes, but I'm forced to throw hot off of that defender. And now I'm throwing into a defense that has 7, 8, and 9 defenders on the back end, and we are throwing hot as if we are overloaded on the offensive side of the ball. So as you can see, that player comes, so I'm forced to throw hot, but he drops everyone else into coverage. So now we're actually throwing hot against a defense that has 7 on the back end of the coverage, right? So, kudos to him showing that look and forcing us to throw hot where we could have thrown a interception, but we get away with one there. And then he shows this look again. So here I'll provide with the answer. Well, what do you do in that situation? Well, we can utilize the check release. So now our back is checking this player to see if he comes. If he doesn't come, then we get out into a route. And then we set the protection where the protection is going to take care of these 5 players inside. So now I'm only hot on one side of the ball. Okay, so now I don't have to look at this player at all, at least the check release player. I'm just looking off of that hot defender. And because he came, I threw hot, threw outside shoulder of the user on a little spot route there, and we were able to get a touchdown there. So I'll go ahead and speed this along. I've stopped it so many times that the program says that my limit has been reached. So I'm pretty shameful in that regard. I need to get better at not stopping and going, you know what I mean? So anyways, we're up 10. I mean, this is a game where I played like trash, right? But it's those critical moments where, you make the right defensive play call, like we did with cover 3 Cloud against that tight set and got an interception. And that was in a drive where he was moving the ball downfield, right? Understanding the game, understanding where your hots are, where you're not hot. You can have a bad game and just having an understanding on that, you're good to go. So this is the same situation. He's got the same look. I'm check releasing, so I don't have that problem anymore. I set him as a mic, so these are the guys that are going to be blocked up by the offensive line. I don't have to look at this player. My back has him, so I am hot off of this defender. If he comes, I have to get rid of the ball before he gets to me. If he doesn't come, then I can just read my concept, be good in the pocket, and make the read. I'm looking at that player all the way. He comes, I know I have to get rid of the ball. I get rid of the ball right into the vacant space that he leaves, and we win the game off of that play right there. Okay, because he doesn't have enough timeouts. So I'll leave it at that. Again, I didn't know where this video would go. So basically what I'm doing is, with this series on this new account, I'm just going through games and then recording the game. And then whatever ends up being the subject talked about the most in the video, that's going to be the name of the actual video that I drop. So I think in this video, it's probably going to be tailored more towards offensive line protection, sim pressure, because I thought that was pretty interesting and something that you guys may find interesting. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you keep coming back, man.